everybody. Today we're going to just kind of review things that we've learned about fractions up until now and make sure we have a good understanding of the numerator, the denominator, what fractions are, and how to represent fractions within a number bond. So, first of all, just a reminder, fractions, or a fraction, is a part of a whole. So when we think of fractions, we have to think of a whole, like a whole shape, a whole cake, a whole pan of brownies, a whole cookie, a whole sandwich, a whole yard, a whole garden, and then thinking about breaking that whole up into different parts, okay? So if I just think of the basic shape like this, a circle that's been cut in half, this is called 1/2. The fraction is 1/2 because you have broken the circle into two parts, and we're talking about one of those parts, this part here. Okay, so just a reminder, this is called the numerator, the top number, and that's the number that, or the part of the whole that we're talking about. And then the bottom number is called our denominator, and our denominator tells us, it tells us how many parts the whole has been broken up into. Okay, so how many parts of the whole, or our unit fraction. All right, so if I show you a shape that looks like this, let's see, this shape. Okay, and if I shade this much of my fraction, we would say that I have shaded 4/6 because I have 4 parts shaded. Those are the parts I was talking about being shaded, but I have 6 whole pieces. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces all together. The whole thing has been broken up into 6 pieces, and I am talking about 4 of them. That's the orange. Okay, so it would be 4/6. If I wanted to show this as a number bond, remember the top of our number bond is our total. Okay, think of your number bond, the top part is the total. So the whole thing, the total of the whole circle is 1, because we're talking about the whole circle, one whole circle. And then if we talk about the part that's shaded, it's 4/6 because 4 parts are shaded out of 6 equal parts that the whole circle was broken into. And the other part of our number bond is the part that hasn't been shaded. There are 2 parts not shaded out of 6 total parts. The key thing, guys, to remember is that this bottom number is how many parts in the whole. It doesn't say how many parts are shaded or not shaded. It's just how many parts has the whole been broken into. Or in other words, what unit are we talking about? And in this case, we're talking about sixths. So our unit fraction is sixths, so our denominator will always be 6 if there are 6 equal parts, regardless of how many are shaded or not shaded. Okay? So let's take a look at one that might be in a rectangle. What if we see something that looks like this? And we have this shaded. So if I asked you to make a number bond to match this shape with the shaded and the unshaded parts, remember the total is how much altogether. We have one whole shape. We're talking about the whole rectangle here. Okay, so we're talking about our whole rectangle. Think of it as a pan of brownies if you wanted to, that whole pan, or a cake, or a candy bar. This is the whole candy bar, and you know how the candy bars have those little squares? And then if we think about the part that's shaded, well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equal parts, and 3 of them are shaded. So I've got 3/8 shaded because I've got 3 shaded parts out of 8 equal parts of the whole. And then if I want to think about what's not shaded, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts that aren't shaded out of the 8 total parts. So we have 3/8 and 5/8. okay? And if I even added those together, this is what fourth grade is doing, I would get 8/8. That makes all the eighths, which is equal to our 1 whole, okay? So just keep in mind that bottom number is always how many parts has the whole been broken into. The top part is the part that we're talking, the part that's shaded, or the part that I'm asking you about, okay? So you're going to be doing this today. You're going to be creating a number bond. They are all out of 1 whole, so your top of your number bond at this point is still going to be just 1 whole, because we're talking about a whole shape, a whole cake, a whole circle, a whole rectangle, whatever shape we're doing. And then the 2 parts, the shaded and the unshaded part, okay? I know a lot of you had a word problem last week that was a little tricky. So let's say we had a word problem of, let's see, Mrs. Davis cuts a cake into equal parts and eats 1/6 of the cake. How much of the cake is left? Now, I had a lot of you get a little stuck on this last week. So first of all, I want you to think about what fractional unit this is talking about. I took a cake, and let's just imagine the cake as a sheet cake, a pan, okay? Though you could think of it as a circle, so maybe I'll model both. And it says I eat 1/6 of the cake. Here's the key. This tells you right here what unit we're talking about. We're talking about sixths. So how many parts should I break my cake into? Yeah, I need to break it into sixths, right? So I could break my cake into sixths like this. I could have broken it into sixths like this if I wanted to. Just have long, skinny pieces. It doesn't matter, right? And I can break my cake into sixths like this if it's a circle. If I eat 1/6, any of these, right? 1/6. I can even label it so I can see it and visualize it. How much is left? Well, if I know 1/6 is eaten, I can count what's left. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Each one of these is sixths, right? So I have 5 that aren't eaten out of 6 pieces. So 5/6 of the cake is left. A lot of you wanted to write 5 pieces are left. And you're right, 5 pieces are left. But when they're talking about fractional parts, your answer should be in a fraction as well, okay? So today I want you to just practice partitioning up a couple of shapes. You are going to complete a number bond for shaded pictures of shapes and tell me what part is shaded and what part is not shaded. And then there is a single word problem for you to solve. You're going to create a number bond to match it and then answer the question. Let me know if you need any help and have fun.